And speaking of rock and roll, earlier today I went one-on-one with one of Chicago's most notable members of that club, Jeff Tweedy of Wilco. Here's Wilco performing an intimate show in Chicago just before the shutdown. The band has a performance this upcoming weekend at Millennium Park. Tweedy is a multiple Grammy Award winner and New York Times best-selling author. He joined us from his tour bus in Boston and said he was reeling from the news that had just broke at that time about Charlie Watts, but he was still kind enough to continue with our scheduled interview. I began by asking Tweedy what it's been like to play in front of live audiences, that is, after so much time off.
It's been great on just being reminded of how powerful it is to have a communal experience surrounding music, and getting to see people that are very obviously out for the first time, probably in a year and a half. I ask the audience every night if it's their first time, and it's pretty sizable percentage every night. It's the first time they've gone and done something similar to a rock concert since everything was shut down. And you know, it's just a beautiful thing to get to be a part of. I will say it's a little bit scarier than we had anticipated. We have to be very, very careful. We're being really as strict as we can possibly be with our protocols, but it's been wonderful. It's been wonderful to get to do what we love to do again.
How does that much time off impact your dynamic together on stage now?
Well, I think, you know, John, our bass player, been in the band for as long as I have. He said it, I think, best when we first started playing. We've done this a lot more than we haven't done this. You know, just a year and a half off isn't really that much in the grand scheme of things when you consider we've been a band for 30 years. So, that's the way it feels. It came back, the connection and the band chemistry seems to be back fully intact. And in a lot of ways, it feels better than ever, because I think there's a deep appreciation of getting to do it again when we went through a period that's not that long, I guess, by general standards, but there was something added to that moment of not playing. We weren't sure when we would play again. So I think that being taken away, this knowledge that it was going to happen, probably made us appreciate it more.
And you personally did do a lot of playing in quarantine. You had the Tweedy show on Instagram, filmed by your wife and then involving your two kids. Let's take a quick look at that.
Gonna take a meteor shower.
So you filmed, I think, 200 episodes of this. Did you imagine when you started this that it would go on and become what it became?
No, we didn't have any idea that it was going to be something that we would continue to do frequently. It just, you know, the initial response was kind of heartwarming. From the first time. We did it on my wife's account to kind of keep it a little bit lower profile than if we'd done it on the Wilco account or my own account. And people kind of found us, and it just seemed like a good way to spend the evening, and for us, and other people seemed to enjoy kind of hanging out with us, is what it really felt like. And it felt like that really almost immediately. So we just kept doing it. And the next thing, you know, that's how things go. Next thing you know, we've done 100 shows and we have a theme song, and you know, we just kept adding to it because we were having fun, and it was a coping strategy, and it was really feeling like a supportive thing to do for the community. And there was a community that was was responding to it.
You're continuing that, it seems, with a new Substack newsletter that you're basically updating on a daily basis. It's called Starship Casual. So tell us about some of the things you're posting on there.
Well, one of the other things I've learned in the last 5 or 6 years is that I enjoy writing prose, and I like getting to share that in a. There's another outlet to do that other than writing books, and that's what the Substack has become. And I also create so many more songs than I'm able to finish or get to record or to share or release. And it's just another outlet for me to kind of feel some connection to these songs by sharing them. You know, getting some reaction and allowing there to be an audience for some of the stuff that, well, you know, a lot of things will probably end up on record someday, but they're things that I've had around for a long time, and I like them, and I want to share them with people, and this is kind of an opportunity to do that. And
one of the things you've also shared is your tips for songwriting. You mentioned you like to write prose. You're the author of 2 books. I have the latest one, How to Write One Song. I read the whole thing. It's a wonderful read. Why is it important to you to sort of let the general public in on some of your tricks of the trade in writing songs?
Well, I genuinely believe that it's a really good thing for people to do, to spend time with them, with the creative side of their brain, to spend time with themselves in a productive way. Not that they have to produce something of value or anything, just to make something that wasn't there when they woke up. I think that that's a really beautiful thing to participate in, and I think a lot of people deny themselves that, and I'm not sure why. Like, I guess the argument is that not everybody's good at writing songs, or not everyone is good at painting or creating. And I find that strange, because we allow ourselves to do all kinds of things we're not good at. We, you know, play beer league softball and nobody doesn't want to throw a Frisbee because they suck at it. Well, maybe they do, but they at least give it a shot. And I think that creating is sort of the same thing. It's just a healthy activity that I would like to share my belief in it. And as far as like tricks of the trade, well, that's kind of the point of the book in a way. Is like, you can do all of the same tricks I use in terms of generating language or ideas, but you're you, and you're not going to make what I make. And even if you set out to make something that you think sounds like something I would make, it won't land in that spot. I think that's the beauty of it. I think that's what kind of the point of it is, to find out more about yourself, and to find out who that is, that you really are.
Jeff, I got to ask you, you got a show coming up at Millennium Park on Saturday. You played a lot of great venues, you just played Red Rocks. Do you get any special kick out of playing a hometown show, especially at a venue like that, you know, right in the heart of the city?
Hometown shows are exciting and electric, and you know, they're always a lot of fun. And you know, the only problem with hometown shows is that I know my neighbors might be there, and that creates a little bit of inhibition. Or, you know, it's always a lot more stressful for my wife, who has to manage all of the ticket requests and things like that come along with playing in a town where we know a lot more people.
And I mean, you've stuck in Chicago for your entire career. You talk about that space, that loft you have in Irving Park that's so essential to your creativity. I mean, how important has it been for you to be based here, to you as an artist and to you as a person?
Oh, I love Chicago. It's, you know, I travel all over the world, and I walk around a lot of cities marveling at how beautiful they are. And then I come home to Chicago, and I realize that if I didn't live there, I would be blown away by things that I'm taking for granted sometimes. But I love Chicago. My family loves Chicago. Just the pace of it, the space that we've been able to create in this, old warehouse for 20 years or so now. We've had time to allow it to grow up around us as an inspiring space to be in. It's hard to picture being able to do what I do without the backdrop of Chicago.
All right, well, Jeff Tweedy, you'll be back here, as we mentioned, next weekend for the show at Millennium Park. You're currently in Boston. Safe travels, and thank you so much again for joining us.
Wonderful talking to you. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
You as well. Thanks.
All right, bye.
Our conversation earlier today with Jeff Tweedy. He also spoke with us about everything from the band's COVID protocols to reparations for black musicians. Be sure to check out the entire interview on our website.